RB Leipzig 2, Aston Villa 3 in the Champions League. Villa fans, if you're as buzzing as I am, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like. Let's try and get 1,000 likes on this and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. Justin, how are you, my friend?
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. What a win. What a night. 3 wins on the trot. We are back. We are back.
What a performance that was against a team that were virtually bottom of the Champions League, but that position that they were in was so sort of not false because the table never lies, but such a dangerous team. You know, there's some teams that are in the bottom like Sturm Graz, etc., and you've got Leipzig with really good players such as Sesko and Openda and really good central midfielders. And what a performance that was from Villa. I think that was probably our best performance in Europe so far under Unai Emery in any competition. I think the magnitude of the game, the application, the football that we played, we were prime Brazil at times. Hey, we were carving through Leipzig and we created some really good opportunities. We could have scored even more goals.
Yeah.
We scored an absolute banger from Duran, which is something that we're just accustomed to. We had a brilliant goal to open the game up. And then we had a bit of luck at the end. And I think Villa fans, them going against us and never going for us. And we finally got one of them where it just eats a player and goes in. So I'm just really buzzing because I think, like what you just touched on, that we are back and we've had this, I don't know, mini blip, but we've backed it up now with 3 wins in a row. And I think any victory in the Champions League, it doesn't matter who you're playing. They're all there on merit. They're all winning their leagues. They're all finishing at the top end of their domestic divisions. There's no mugs in this competition. And I say it in the Premier League that every game's difficult. Anybody can beat anybody. And I think one of the big little things that I've had in the back of my head is that, you know, we were in Europe last year. We're in Europe this year. And I've really wanted to see some performances away from home because at home, I back us to beat anybody, but away from home in hostile environments against big teams that have got players that can change things, just like when they got their second goal, a wonderful finish from them. You know, a lot of these players have got that type of stuff in their locker, and to go away and get that victory is massive because when we do get into sort of like the knockout phases, we are going to have to go to certain places and not lose. And I think that's something that I've really wanted to keep my eye on in this Champions League campaign, the ability for us to not lose away from home. So I'm buzzing. I know everyone at home's buzzing, but how are you feeling then, Justin?
I'm over the moon, mate. 6 games into our first Champions League campaign for 40 years, and we are 13 points. We're averaging over 2 points a game. When you think of the quality of opposition we've been put against, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Leipzig away, these are serious outfits, and we've more than matched lots of them this season. Tonight, am I allowed to say I really enjoyed that game? Now it's finished. There was times when I wasn't enjoying it because it was end to end, but it was a fantastic game to watch. To be honest, they were up against it. They were, like you say, more practically rock bottom. I think third from bottom, no points. Basically had to win all 3 games and still probably wouldn't have qualified. So they had nothing to lose tonight. They're just playing for pride essentially. And I think we started brilliantly. Exactly what we wanted in this game. I thought they were going to come out of the blocks quite quickly and just throw the kitchen sink at us. But we started fantastically. Crafted a really, really wonderfully worked goal. Took it really well, and they should have. Based on the first 27 minutes, we really should have run away with the game. We were excellent, really, really good. Back to somewhere near where we want to be every game. Didn't get the second, and then got caught with a real sucker punch. Something that we'll go on to talk about at other times. But our defending at times is absolutely worrying. I think there was a moment in the second half when Pau Torres rolled the ball to their centre forward, and you're like, oh my God, what are you doing? But let's forget that now. We've managed to outride it, took the lead 3 times. The third time managed to hold on to it and win a fantastic, like you say, winning away from home anywhere is hard enough, but winning away from home in the Champions League, third, we're third. We are third in a league of 36 of Europe's elite teams with 2 games to go, with a monumental chance. I think we've got to win one of our last 2 now to finish in the top 8, which would be an insane achievement. Let's just, let's not beat around the bush. It would be insane for us to finish in the top 8, because that bypasses that tricky 2-leg game to get into the last 16. If we can get straight to the last 16, we've got to win one 2-legged game to be in the quarterfinals of the European Cup. It's just unbelievable, and I'm so pleased we've come through this sticky patch. We're not there yet. There's still things to do. There's still things to work on. There's still issues within that team and squad, but absolutely over the moon tonight. We couldn't have gone much better, really.
I think the pleasing aspect of it is as well is that you can see it. You can see a style and an identity of what we're trying to do. We're not just rocking up and just saying we're going to sit behind the ball and we're going to soak it up and hit you on the. We're not that team. We're a team that we're going to go to your backyard and we're going to play football and we're going to play our way on your turf, and that's what we're going to do. And we were brilliant, and I think you look at this like the momentum bar of the game. Villa in the blue, we're in the bottom, and there's long sustained periods of Aston Villa domination. You can see from the stats that we had 53% possession, we had a 2.13 XG, they had a 2.25, we had 19 shots, which is mental with the away
from home.
team. We've had 19 shots on their goal. They've had 17. I think passing wise, we had 8 shots on target. I think we've made 435 passes. They made 381. So it was just a very good performance from Villa, and I just think we were just really good. Have you froze?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You're here, but you froze. Let me
Oh.
Right, let me try and I don't know. You froze. You're not on the screen, but as long as you're here,
I'm here. I
but
can
yeah,
hear you.
I just thought, yeah, brilliant performance from us, and like you say, started the game really well. What I'm going to say, Villa fans, anyone watch the match preview? Unai Robinson called Matty Cash starting at right wing, which was a master stroke from myself. And Unai obviously must be watching this channel because he liked the idea of it, and he started with Cash at right wing. And I think for first 3 minutes when we scored, beautiful chipped pass from Cash to the back post, headed down by Ollie Watkins. McGinn buries it, and what a start to the game. And I thought Cash had a really good game. What did you think of him, Justin?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting team selection. You did call it, and you said in the group chat you fancied it. And when the team news dropped, smug Luke Robinson dropped straight in the group chat. I called it. Fair play to you, fair play to you. And he has used him there before, hasn't he? So I suppose it wasn't a massive surprise, but yeah, great. I like the way the team set up with Cash playing that role, because when we defended, we were 5-4-1, wasn't we? And they all sat in, the 3 centre halves, and it looked more solid, didn't it? But I think he does offer a little bit going forward, and it proves with the goal. He cut back in on his left, and he did float a nice little left-footed ball to the back stick, and Ollie did really well to pick out John McGinn's run. Yeah, I liked it. We know there's issues in those roles that players haven't really snatched. Grabbed those positions by the scruff of the neck. Ramsey struggled with form and injuries, and McGinn's been in and out this season. So Bailey hasn't been great. So those 2 positions, really, left hand side and right hand side, are up for grabs, aren't they? So I like the fact he even when he switched it, he tried Nijelkovic there, and he threw Buendia on. He threw players on that haven't had many minutes, and he's saying, "Come on, go and change the game." And although it was a deflected goal, I was chuffed for Ross Barkley. That's his first Champions League goal. You think how long he's been around the game, how many times he's played in Europe throughout his career. Fair play to him, and a great way to win it. A bit of luck, which we don't really have very often. Everything seems to be going against us these days. But, that was a bit of luck, and I'll take it all day long for the win.
Yeah, and there was a couple of tight calls in the game, wasn't there? Ollie had a tight one, Cash had a tight one, they had a tight one, and they managed to get sort of like the 2-2 equaliser through a tight one. Martinez and the little bit of a mess up and at the back, and you're starting to think, oh my god, like another Villa error. And up until their first goal, we were absolutely cruising. We
Yeah,
were carving them at will, and it was just frustrating that I think we all know as football fans that momentum changes games, and even though they were completely out of it at 1-0, they got that goal and brought them back to life again. And I think the big thing for Villa as well is that we've showed character today to sort of go ahead, level. We've showed character to keep going. Some teams would have probably caved in at 2-2 and momentum would have just gone all the way to Leipzig. So fair play to Villa for sticking with that character as well, really. But Justin, there was a change at half time. Watkins off Duran on. When that goal went in, my celebrations, I don't know what my neighbours think, but I just went absolutely nuts because I mean, I know where he shot from. He shot from far out, but I'm going to watch the highlights tonight probably about 600 times. But that goal, it's so far out, and he's just sort of like picked it up. And I think it was good, quick throw from Martinez, and we was able to play straight through him, and it found its way to Duran, and he's absolutely just sort of like smacked it but curled it, and it's just
yeah,
looped over. I mean, I spoke about the two strikers in Sesko, being one of the most up and coming strikers in Europe. But Duran, that kid is special, isn't he, Justin?
yeah. Yeah, he's a top player, isn't he? I think it probably was preordained to maybe switch it at half time, give both players 45 minutes, keep them fresh. I don't think Ollie did anything particularly wrong in the first half to sort of mean that he needed to be dragged off for like tactical reasons. So I think it was half a game each, it seemed to me. But you just can't fault John Duran, can you? He's just got this. He's got this bit of madness about him, hasn't he? And I think he picks the ball up. Who else is going to have a dip from there? There ain't many players in the modern age. Nobody hits the ball from long out far out. Very rarely. The old days when I was a kid, match of the day's goal of the month. There will be not long range bangers. You don't see them very much anymore. And he's took a chance, hasn't he? He's looked up. The keeper's just about on his 6 yard box, but it's got to be absolutely pinpoint perfect. I think the one angle from behind the goal does look like he's trying to bend it in the top left hand corner, but he's hit it so well, it's just sailed over the keeper, and when it literally just skims the keeper's fingertips, and then skims underneath the bar. So there's no room for error in that effort. He's just lifted it beautifully over the goal, and what a strike it is! And he was so unlucky with that second as well, just literally inches offside. So just we're going to have to start having a conversation very soon about who is going to be our main striker going forward, because we've got two excellent centre forwards on our hands. And I've said it a few times, and I do think, like I said earlier, with this issue with the left hand side and the right hand side attackers, could it be that we could maybe try Ollie Watkins maybe off the left or off the right? I know it's slightly unnatural for him. Would he want to play that role base that he's had the run of the Villa Park for the last 3 or 4 years as the main man? But if John Duran keeps doing things like that, how can you leave the guy out? And I think this is the question going forward now. What do you do with both of them?
Yeah, it's I'm
It's
glad
a nice
it's
thing
not
to
my
have, though, isn't it?
decision. Yeah, it's not my decision, so I'm not going to answer that. I'll let Unai answer that one. But another player who I keep mentioning him every single episode now is Boubacar Kamara. And
Brilliant.
my superlatives for him just keep getting better and better. He's just like running the game. His awareness and just the way he sort of shields the ball, wins the ball, knows where to be. His tactical brain is just unbelievable. He's just his football reading of the game is just second to none. I don't think I think Pau's got a good technical football brain, but I think Kamara's is just so good and it's so disciplined. And And what I'm starting to see from him now is that he's covering a lot more ground. He's
Getting
actually like
fitter. Mm,
he's pressing
yeah,
really far forward as well. I think last season when he was doing so well, he was so sort of like restrained to that sort of covering the right back. But now when I see him sometimes, and he's further than some of the strikers at some points. The way he's pressing, and he's brilliant. He had 88% passing accuracy, won 7 of his 12 duels. And I just think he had a fantastic game. If we have a quick little look at the average positions from the game, and Kamari, I mean, look where Kamara is. He's absolutely everywhere. And Tielemans, he's the same in really advanced positions. We've got Matty Cash on the right, who's getting forward as well. And the reason why I said about Matty Cash is because I knew that he would be able to offer the width of what Bailey does. The three centre halves as well were very in tune, and I thought they were really good. I thought Rodgers was brilliant, just picking up that ball. McGinn's back in form now. He's really hustling and bustling and pressing and winning the ball back and trying to play it forward. So I just thought everybody played their part and played really well. And even though, there was the mix-up for that first goal, Martinez made some really good saves at the end. So I think he sort of like made up for that error between the whole of the defence. But yeah, so I thought all in all, it was just brilliant.
I think looking at those average positions, that's the closest we've got in a very long time, if ever, under an army that to a 3-4-3. Playing the sort of fullbacks quite high up. You look at the 12 and the 2 there, the 2 holding midfielders, and then you've got the 3 attackers with McGinn, Watkins, and Rodgers. That's a 3-4-3, isn't it? And we haven't really seen any sign really of Unai shifting away from how he normally plays. But both fullbacks there are very, very high up the pitch. So whether that was a deliberate ploy or not, I don't know. But it certainly sort of worked tonight. I know we conceded 2 goals, but that was down to errors really. But yeah, a wonderful night. It's been a wonderful campaign. We can't. You can't say this enough. This is the elite in Europe, and we are third in the competition, looking like finishing in the top 8. It's insane.
Yeah, it's wicked, and you can't. I think a lot got made of our form a couple of weeks ago, and Premier League and Europe and whatever you might say. But if we can qualify for this top 8, that is a remarkable, outstanding achievement to be able to do that. I can't tell you enough how impressive that would be to put us straight into the round of 16. So we've still got a job. I just want to spare a thought to Marco Rose, the Leipzig manager, who I thought was very arrogant and very disrespectful before the game, speaking about how pretty easy it is to plan to face Aston Villa. And I imagine he's probably sat there now thinking how difficult it is to play against Aston Villa. So yeah, it did really annoy me, because I think any team can be easy to break down and look at and study, because if any team has a clear identity, then you are going to be able to look at it and break them down a little bit. So I just found it really disrespectful, because that's just something that I'd never expect Unai Emery to say. So hopefully he's just sat there now thinking that he's had a tough night. He's got no points in the Champions League. So up the Villa, mate. But yeah, so just finish us off then, Justin. How are you sort of feeling after that game then?
Yeah,
He's not there.
I am
You
here.
there?
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm chuffed. There's been moments over the last 6 weeks when I've been really getting a bit down about the football, because everybody's jumping down the Villa's throats and things haven't been going as well as they did last year. But this is evolving all of the time. We're nowhere near the finished article. We are competing at the top end of the Premier League. We're competing at the top end of the Champions League with the interview with Monchi before the game was really interesting. He's sort of intimating that there is going to be some movement in the transfer window in January. So we are constantly trying to improve all the time. So the fact that we are where we are, absolutely brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more happy to see us competing in this competition and just growing as a team. I think that's something that I'm really impressed with, because I always say that we're by far from the finished article. I think we are far from it, and
Yeah,
we're learning and we're growing and we're getting better, and there may be some little bumps in the road, but I think as long as we learn from them, we grow from those sort of little blips or mistakes, then we'll come through it on the other end. And
100%.
you can't begrudge what we're doing, because I saw the table earlier today of the amount of injuries per team, and I think we were fifth or sixth with 15 injuries so far this season. And I look at sort of like last season, how Newcastle had all those injuries and they massively dropped off. But we're sitting third in the Champions League. We're in and around where we need to be in the Premier League, and we're just doing really, really well. And a lot of our players are starting to pick up form again. And I think sort of like form's temporary, but class is permanent. Like McGinn's getting back to his best. Rogers is playing well. Watkins with the great assist today. He was fantastic against Brentford. Okay, missed a few chances against Southampton. He ran the channel well today. He was good. He scored his offside one-on-one, which I was quite pleased with, that he was able to score even though he was offside. And Duran's banging form, and we just got options. Kamara's back and looking brilliant. Tielemans. So I just think we're doing fine, and I'm just really proud of the players today, because I imagine some could say, oh, they were on 0 points, blah blah blah. But this
There's
team that
no
we've
easy
beat
game, is
tonight,
there?
nah, they're a good team. They are.
Yeah.
Look at their Bundesliga form. They're right up there. So tough place to go, and what a victory.
Up the
Gonna
Villa.
add anything? Or yeah, up the Villa.
Yeah,
Right, cool,
absolutely
everyone.
brilliant.
Right, we're going. I don't know where Justin's gone, but hopefully you can hear him. So thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Smash the likes. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.